Welcome to Global Sky Update. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for more updates. I don't think people understand just how critical a few minutes can be in modern air combat. What if China's most advanced stealth fighter, the J-35, could only fight for 7 minutes? For the Philippines on the front lines of the South China Sea, this isn't just a technical detail. It could be the difference between a real threat and a paper tiger. The J-35 is meant to challenge American air dominance at sea, but a critical limitation is emerging time. Imagine a J-35 launching from a Chinese carrier, racing toward Philippine airspace. If reports are accurate, the pilot's combat window, time to fight before running low on fuel, could be just a few minutes. This single constraint could turn an overwhelming threat into a manageable challenge for Manila and Washington. Air power isn't just about advanced jets, it's about staying power, being able to project force and adapt as the battle unfolds. For the Philippines, understanding this limitation shapes everything from radar placement to diplomatic strategy. The 7-minute question forces us to look past the hype and examine the real systems that make a military work. For now, a critical part of China's military machine has a 7-minute question mark hanging over it.
For decades, China watched U.S. carriers dominate the seas. To become a global power, Beijing needed its own. The journey began with the Liaoning, then the Shandong, and now the advanced Fujian, equipped with electromagnetic catapults. These carriers are the centerpiece of China's blue water ambitions, but their true power lies in the aircraft they launch. The J-15 Flying Shark was a start, but to rival the U.S. Navy's F-35C, China needed a stealth peer, the J-35. The J-35 is designed to be the fist of the Chinese carrier fleet, a fifth-generation stealth jet for the Fujian and future carriers. For the Philippines, a stealth-capable Chinese carrier group is a game-changer, threatening air and sea assets and enforcing territorial claims. But carrier aviation is notoriously difficult. The U.S. spent nearly a century perfecting it. China is racing to catch up. The J-35 is the pinnacle of this effort, but also a potential bottleneck. If the J-35 can't perform as needed, the entire carrier dream is at risk. China's ambitions hinge on whether this jet can truly deliver. On paper, the J-35 looks like a modern marvel, stealthy, angular, with internal weapons bays and advanced radar. Its design borrows from the F-22 and F-35, aiming to slip through enemy defenses and strike with surprise. It's more than a fighter. It's a flying information hub, sharing data with ships and ground stations. The J-35 is China's answer to American air superiority, a symbol of its rise as a military-industrial power. But integrating these complex systems is a massive challenge, especially for a carrier-based jet. All the tech in the world is useless if the jet can't get to the fight and stay there. The Dragon may be cloaked in stealth, but its wings may not be strong enough for a long flight.
Stealth is powerful, but endurance is just as critical. Endurance is how long a jet can stay in the fight. A fighter burns fuel fast, especially in combat. Every sortie is a race against the fuel gauge. For carrier-based jets, the challenge is even greater. Their base is a moving ship, often far from the action. If time on station is too short, the fighter's effectiveness plummets. It might arrive only to leave almost immediately. Long endurance means persistent patrols and constant presence. Short endurance means gaps and vulnerabilities. The carrier must launch and recover jets more often, straining crews and creating exploitable gaps. Endurance is a core component of air power. A less stealthy jet that can outlast its rival can win the day. That's why modern air forces invest in aerial refueling and bigger fuel tanks. The most advanced weapon is useless if it can't stay in the fight. In the end, time and fuel govern every decision in the air.
The story broke quietly but sent shockwaves through defense circles. China's J-35 may have only 7 minutes of combat time at maximum range. Breaking news: intelligence suggests China's carrier-based stealth fighter has a critical weakness: a tiny combat window. The J-35 can fly far, but its engines are so fuel-hungry that over the Philippines, it has just minutes to fight before it must turn back. If true, this changes everything. A jet that can't linger becomes predictable. Philippine and allied forces could simply outlast the J-35, using drones or other assets to force it to burn fuel and retreat. The stealth fighter's mission shifts from power projection to self-preservation. For Manila, this is a crucial insight. The threat is real, but it's not invincible. Counter strategies become possible. Invest in long-range surveillance, keep defensive assets airborne longer, and exploit the J-35's short leash. The 7-minute report transforms the J-35 from an invincible phantom into a powerful but flawed weapon. For China, the psychological impact is as significant as the tactical one. The myth of unstoppable Chinese air power is punctured. For the Philippines, the challenge is serious, but manageable. The 7-minute window is a vulnerability that can be exploited.
The J-35's endurance problem starts with its engines. Jet engine technology is the hardest part of aerospace. China has made progress, but its engines still lag behind the West in reliability and fuel efficiency. High thrust is great for combat, but high fuel consumption means short range and endurance. If the J-35's engines are less efficient than the F-35's, it either needs more fuel or accepts a shorter range. Carrier operations make things even tougher. Engines must be powerful, reliable, and resistant to saltwater corrosion. China may have solved the power part, but efficiency and endurance remain hurdles. Jet engines require decades of expertise. You can't just copy blueprints, you have to build them right. The US and its allies have a huge head start. China is catching up, but can't skip steps. The J-35's endurance issue is a symptom of this technology gap. It's a 5th-generation airframe with a 4th-generation engine in terms of efficiency.
The J-35's short endurance directly impacts how China can use its carriers in the South China Sea.
To patrol near the Philippines, a Chinese carrier must sail deep into contested waters, exposing itself to anti-ship missiles like the BrahMos.
The carrier, meant to project power from afar, is forced to risk its own survival just to get its fighters into the fight. Maintaining a constant patrol means a relentless rotation of J-35s, stressing crews and equipment.
It also creates predictable patterns. Adversaries can time their moves to exploit gaps when J-35s are cycling in and out.
For the Philippines, this opens new options: plan for short, intense bursts of activity, and use longer-range land-based assets to outlast the J-35s. Asymmetric tactics, drones, fast boats, can force the J-35s to burn fuel and retreat.
The J-35 becomes a guard dog on a very short chain, tethered to its carrier.
The endurance limitation shrinks China's chessboard in the South China Sea.
Modern warfare is also about perception. The J-35 is a tool of psychological statecraft, projecting an image of Chinese technological parity. But the 7-minute combat window challenges this narrative, exposing a critical flaw. A weapon that looks impressive, but can't deliver, is a hollow threat. This revelation emboldens regional states, showing the technological gap is not insurmountable. If China's bluff is called in a real conflict, the perception of strength could collapse. For the Philippines, the key is to recognize the J-35 as a real but limited threat. Don't be paralyzed by its image. Focus on its real-world limitations. A clear-eyed assessment allows for a confident, realistic defense. The psychological weapon is most effective when its flaws remain hidden.
The J-35's 7-minute combat window teaches a vital lesson. True air power is about persistence, not just technology. It's about sustaining operations, controlling the sky for hours, not minutes. China's progress is impressive, but engine efficiency and endurance remain vulnerabilities. Building a fifth-generation airframe is one thing. Building a complete, effective combat system is another. For the Philippines, the key is to look past the headlines and exploit real weaknesses. Smart strategy means investing in surveillance, asymmetric capabilities, and strong alliances. The 7-minute question is a reminder. Power projection is a marathon, not a sprint. In the South China Sea, true strength is measured in hours of staying power, not minutes of glory.